how the software development life cycle models will work. Okay, so software development life cycle models. There is various models available. So we are going to look one by one. First one is waterfall model. This also can be called as sequential model. So this is a traditional life cycle model which is used in the olden days. Okay, so nowadays also some of the companies are following waterfall model for few projects. What is that? How it will be implemented? We will see. Okay, and then you have prototype model, and then you will have iterative model, and then you will have spiral model, and then you will have V model, and you will have fish model, and finally the latest trending one, that is agile methodology or agile model. So we will discuss all these one by one. First one, waterfall model. So whenever you wanted to understand any of these life cycles, first you need to understand what are all the various phases in the software development life cycle. So we all know the software development life cycle consists of the following phases. What phases we have? The first one is requirements phase, and then you will have analysis phase, and then you will have design phase, and then you will have coding phase, and then testing, and finally you will be having delivery and maintenance phase. These are all the phases which you have in any of the software development lifecycle process. So now we will look at waterfall model, how this model will be implemented in the company and what are all the advantages of this. So to implement this waterfall model, you need to have a clear information for each phase. That means once you have all the requirements are ready, then only you will go to the next phase. That is what the waterfall model does. That means you need to have enough information on the requirements, what needs to be developed, then only we will take all the requirements and then we will finalize that, and then we will go to the analysis phase. So how the implementation will be done? First of all, you just see how the waterfall model will work. First of all, in this model, we call it as sequential model. When I say sequential model, this is transparent model where you can understand the each and every phase in a detailed manner. So phases will be there, and then what is the activity we are going to do, and then what is the outcome of each phase we are going to see. Now, the first phase, as I told you, the initial phase. So when I say initial phase, this is your requirements phase. And after that, you will be having analysis phase. And then you will have design phase. And then you will have coding phase, and then you will be having testing phase, and then finally you will be having delivery and maintenance phase. So these are all the phases. Now what will happen? First and foremost thing, in the initial phase you will be doing an activity called gathering the requirements. First, all the requirements will be gathered. By whom? Who will gather the requirements? Your business analyst will gather the requirements along with your project manager, and then there will be an outcome document which will be created. That document name, they call it as BRS. BRS stands for Business Requirement Specification Document. So you call it as BRS, stands for Business Requirement Specification Document. So some companies may call it as FRS also. FRS stands for Functional Requirement Specification. And some companies may call it as URS, User Requirement Specifications. And some companies may call it as functional specifications. Everyone will have their own, but generally you just need to understand all these are requirements documents, where it can be a BRS document or FRS document. And now in this phase, your project manager and your business analyst will play a key role, and they will create one outcome document based on this phase. After they interact with the customer, they gather the entire information from the customer and create it in a document format. That document is the outcome of this phase, which is your BRS or FRS document. So this document will be input for the next phase. So what is that they are doing? They are just gathering the requirements in this phase and explaining the customer back, and then checking their understanding. If their understanding is done, then they'll say that this is my final document, and they'll get the sign off from the customer. So once that is done, this will go to the analysis phase. So in the analysis phase, what will happen? There will be a system design will be performed. The system analyst will take care of this, and then they will be creating one document called system requirement specification. What exactly your system is going to need to develop the software, that will be done by the your system analyst, and project manager also will participate. And finally they will deliver one outcome document, that is system requirement specification document. System requirement specification document. So here the BRS document will be outcome for first phase, and that will be input for your analysis phase. Your input for first phase, that is analysis phase, is BRS, and analysis phase outcome document is your SRS document. SRS document will consist of how your system should look like, what is the exact information the system is looking for. That entire information will be done by the your system analyst. Now this document will be input for your design phase. SRS will be the input. In the design phase, there will be two things which will be taken care, that is software design. There we call it as high level and low level design. High level and low level design will be taken care by the chief architects, and your senior developers will take care of that, and they are going to give an outcome document, that is TDD, technical design document. And also they will provide the graphical user interface, GUI, graphical user interface. What does it mean? They will give you the layout of the system, how the system should look like, that will be defined in the design phase. So software design will be done with a high level and low level design, and then there you will be getting the outcome document of TDD and GUI. So there you will be having the high level information and low level information along with the pseudo code to the development team. So in the coding phase, implementation will be done. So the developers will implement the code according to the design provided by the architects and then senior development team along with the GUI. So once that is done, there will be three testings they used to do. One is unit testing, that is unit testing. After they perform unit testing, UTR stands for unit test result. Unit testing, based on the unit testing, unit test results will be provided, and after that module testing will be done. Module test results will be provided, and after that integration testing will be performed. Then integration testing results will be performed. So these are all the levels of testings you have understood in the previous session, where the developers will perform first three levels of testing. Those are unit testing, module testing, and integration testing, and finally they will provide the build to the testing team. For the testing team, these results will be the input document, but not the source code, whatever they are providing. Whatever the code they are giving, that is not our input document. For testing phase, FRS or BRS document will be your input document. If you look at, for each and every phase, the outcome of the first phase will be the input for the next phase. For coding phase, the outcome will be your source code document and then build. For testing, this is not the input document for testing. For testing, you are going to have FRS or BRS will be your input document, and during test execution, That means when you are going to execute your test cases, you will be making use of the build. Build means your application. When you say application will be used, and finally you will be giving a delivery to the software. So once you deliver it to the customer, then they will be maintenance will be happened. Okay, so that maintenance will happen once you provide the software to the customer. So here if you look at in the testing phase, black box testing will be performed. Here what is going to happen, you will be performing system testing, that is system test results will be there, and also after system testing we will be performing system integration testing, and then finally it will be provided to the BAT testing. BAT or UAT. BAT stands for business acceptance testing. So when I say BAT, BAT stands for business acceptance testing. Business acceptance testing, or UAT stands for user acceptance testing. User user acceptance testing. So both are same. So once you complete, so these people will be performing at a business level what needs to be tested for the application, that will be taken care by the business users. And finally, once everything is done, the application or the project will be delivered to the production, and there it will be deployed into the live environment, and then it will be delivered to the customer. This is how your waterfall model will work. So this is pretty simple. In the interview, somebody asks you, can you explain me waterfall model? You no need to explain in this entire fashion whatever the way I have given. You can simply say that waterfall model is a transparent model which consists of requirements, analysis, design, coding, testing, delivery, and maintenance. And then each phase has a particular purpose. So requirements phase, all the requirements will be gathered, and there will be an outcome document. Functional requirement specification will be provided, and based on that analysis will be done, and then SRS document will be delivered, and based on that the system design will be completed, and then we will be getting the technical design document, and then the GUI of the application. Based on that, the implementation will be taken care by the development team, and there they will be performing unit, module, and integration testing, and finally it will be delivered to the testing team, and testing team will be performing the system testing, and after that it will be given to the user acceptance testing, and once everything is done, the product or project is ready for the deployment. So this is how you have to explain the waterfall model. So if you know the SDLC phases, it is easy for you to explain any of the life cycle models. All the life cycle models, as I told you, these life cycle models, uh, prototype model, iterative model, spiral, V model, fish model, agile, all these will have to follow definitely the 6 phases, whatever we have seen, that is requirements, analysis, design, coding, testing, delivery, and maintenance. But the way they operate will vary in each of these models. That is only the change when you are talking about these life cycle models. So now, what is the advantage of waterfall model? So when I say advantages, so how can you say that there is an advantage? So here all the requirements are finalized. That means there is no last minute changes. That means whenever the customer explains something, once you finalize, you will not be changing the requirements frequently, so that you will be able to implement the application easily. So this is a transparent model. Transparent model means you can go phase by phase and you can deliver the product in a easy manner, but it will take some time. That is the disadvantage. That is the disadvantage of this model. And also, if at all any changes in between, if the customer wanted to incorporate, you cannot do, because once you complete one phase, then only you will be going into the next phase. Now what will happen if at all you find customer finds something after the coding phase, if they wanted to change anything, then there might be a problem of changing the design also. That's the reason waterfall model will not allow you to make any frequent changes or any changes once you finalize the document. That is what the major disadvantage of this waterfall model. That's the reason all the other models have coming to picture. We will discuss the next models as well.